My name is Mrs. Emma Oliver, and I'm the band director at Kingsley and Elmwood Elementary Schools in Naperville 203. And I am so excited to introduce you to a friend of mine. Today we're going to be talking with Mr. Jeffrey Spenner. Mr. Spenner and I actually attended undergrad together. So we went to the University of Illinois. We were students in the School of Music together. We had lots of classes together and played in band together. And now I am a beginning band director, and Mr. Spenner has a really cool job. And I'll let you tell him, or I'll let him tell you a little bit more about it. So, Mr. Spenner, if you could talk a little bit about what your position is, what your title is, and what we should call you. Go ahead.
Yep, so I'm Chief Warrant Officer Jeff Spenner. I'm the Assistant Director of the United States Coast Guard Band. The Coast Guard Band is the musical representative of the United States Coast Guard, one of our 5 branches of military, and also the musical representative of the Department of Homeland Security, under which the Coast Guard falls. My rank is Chief Warrant Officer. That's what militarily I am. But the band calls me Mr. Spenner, just like all your students call you Mrs. Oliver, and call teachers Mr. or Mrs. Or Miss, as the case may be. So yeah, that's the proper military way of addressing me, is as Mr. Spenner. I still prefer Jeff, personally, but I am in the military, so that such things come with that.
I think a lot of my students might not really know about this, but musicians are a really important part of our nation's armed forces. And so with Veterans Day coming up, I wanted to teach them a little bit about service bands. So I don't really know a lot about this either. How many service bands are there, and how are they set up?
So I actually don't know the entire number because it's a larger number than you might think. So the armed forces, there are 6 branches of the armed forces. There's the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, and now Space Force. And each of the branches, except for Space Force, has at least one band. There is only one band to the Coast Guard, so this is it. I am the, I'm with the band. But each of the other branches have at least several. So each branch, again, excluding the Space Force, has a premier band. So we are the premier band, obviously, of the Coast Guard. The Army has the premier band in Washington, D.C. That's Pershing's own Army band. Also in Washington, D.C. is the premier band of the Navy, the Navy band. The President's own Marine band is based there as well, and the Air Force band is there as well. Now, all of those branches, the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, also have other ensembles. So, for example, I spent about 5 years in the Army band program before I came over to the Coast Guard. So I was in a band in Missouri called the 399th Army Band at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. And that was one of, I want to say, 37 or 38 Army bands spread around the country. And there are also a couple, there are a couple in Europe, and there's one in South Korea, there's one in Japan. And then, as a part of the National Guard and the Army Reserves, which are a part of the Army, each state has at least 1 or 2 part-time military ensembles. So when you put together all of the active duty full-time military ensembles, plus the part-time reserve or National Guard ensembles, I think you have something like 120 or so military bands in the country. So there's a lot of opportunity to serve your country through music, if that's something that people are interested in doing.
Wow. And we should say Mr. Spenner's instrument before he started conducting as part of service band is?
I call myself a reformed trumpet player. I don't really play much anymore, but yes, when Mrs. Oliver and I knew each other back in undergrad, I was a starry-eyed trumpet player.